Y'all, the devil's getting busy. Listen, maybe I can't make the video more than 10 minutes. Y'all, I'm on part two. I'm doing the video from if you watched the last video, you guys, it's called California Commit Hate Crimes Part 3. It is it was September the 19th at 11:45 when I first started. Now it's 12:01 a.m. September the 20th. I just tried to record a video and it didn't record. I'm on a new computer that my son bought me. It's an old used computer from eBay or from Amazon or something, and that might be the problem. At any rate, I powered through the part 4 of California Commits Hate Crimes, documenting the hearing from February the 7th. When I went back 2 days later to upload it, it wasn't there. I just tried again, and the video didn't record. So I'm going to do this in short spurts. So let me go ahead and start where I was at. So on the last, to confirm, you guys forgive me, I'm trying to find where I left off at. I just was reading it. I just saw it. Just a second, you guys, please forgive me. Okay, so I'm going to discuss February the 7th, 2019, and we're going to answer these questions after we review it. Does Judge Heidel blatantly does Judge Heidel's, I keep saying it's Judge Heidel's possession, does Judge Heidel's blatant gaslighting, aggression, and bias against respondent rise to the level of misconduct? Review canon. We'll talk about canon in a subsequent video. Judge Heidel makes accusatory statements with the intention to discredit and defame the respondent. I am the respondent. The question is number 2. Does Judge Heidel's failure to provide instruction demonstrate intent to put respondent at a disadvantage? Compare and contrast. The only hearing by an unbiased judge is Judge Lawson. So let me clarify that to you. I'm going to do a compare and contrast with other civil litigants in her court, the way she talked to them, the way she handled the case. We're going to do a compare and contrast to demonstrate that I was treated differently because I am a Negro, descendant of chattel slavery. The third question is, petitioner and respondent were in a long-term marriage of over 23 years. Did Judge Heidel violate California family law by not ordering support as stated by Family Code 4320? So I'm going to read this to you, what transpired, and what we're going to answer those 3 questions. I'm going to say real quick again. Does Judge Heidel's blatant gaslighting, aggression, and bias against respondent rise to the level of misconduct? We're going to review canon. Judge Heidel makes accusatory statements with the intention to discredit and defame the respondent, me. Does Judge Heidel's failure to provide instruction demonstrate intent to put respondent at a disadvantage? Compare and contrast. The only hearing by an unbiased judge was Judge Lawson. And you know why I put this in here? Because he gave instruction as he heard the hearing, okay? The third one again, petitioner and respondent were in a long-term marriage for over 23 years. Did Judge Heidel violate California family law by not ordering support as stated by Family Code 4320? Okay, I'm going to start discussing what happened. And I might stop aside to make sure that it's still recording. On February 7th, 2019 was a spousal support hearing. I was greeted by the opposing counsel in the courtroom. She told me we had to confer outside. She asked me if we could move the spousal support hearing. I said no. This really rattled me. I've gone 3 months without any earnings. I was so afraid the judge would move the date. I later realized that was a opposing strategy to put me on edge. Judge Sarah Heidel never explained to me that the date could be moved unless I agreed. Heidel held the hearing with me not understanding if we were going to have the hearing or that the hearing was actually in process. At the onset of the hearing, the opposing and Heidel began speaking to each other, his attorney and the judge. I immediately interrupted because it was my understanding, since I was the petitioner, the moving party, I should have gone first. I asked, why does she get to go first? I was worried they would asked to hear the case at a different time. So I'm going to say this really quickly to you guys. If you watch Judge Math or any judge, any court TV, they start with the person who brings the case to court. They start with them. The petitioner, the person bringing the motion, speaks first, and then they are to respond to it. Going in here, she talks to them. I'm going to demonstrate bias in favor of this white male abusive alcoholic. Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop because I'm scared I'm losing the video. I'm going to finish where I was left off. Let me just stop right back. It recorded. I don't know, should I go more than 10 minutes at a time because I did it and it didn't record. So let me keep going. This is the old computer that I have. Okay, Judge Sarah Heidel never explained to me that the date couldn't be moved unless I agreed. Heidel held the hearing with me, not understanding if we were going to have the hearing or that the hearing was actually in process. At the onset of the hearing, the opposing and Heidel began speaking to each other. I immediately interrupted because it was my understanding, since I was the petitioner, the moving party, I should have gone first. I asked, why does she get to go first? I was worried that they would ask to hear the case at a different time. Judge Heidel scolded me. Excuse me, I apologize. I only wanted to know why she was first if I was the moving party. In the transcripts, it reads that I apologized at a different time during the trial. This isn't what's happening at all. She never officially said to me she would hear my case. I begged her, telling her I had no income. I had my husband's check stuff. She looked at me and said, what do you have? What do you have? I actually had a presentation to read from because I was suffering from concussion syndrome. By that time, I was truly flustered. The self-help person told me that she wouldn't look at tax records and go from there. So what's happening is I'm in court. When you go in court, like, people don't just go to court every day, so you don't know what's happening. I'm going through a divorce with this man I've been married to for 23 years. He's an abusive alcoholic who I try my best to make it work with this man who abandoned me for over a year. Okay? So I just want you to understand my state of mind and how this woman is treating me. And we're also going to do a compare and contrast how she talks to other litigants that are not Black people. Okay? So I begged her, telling her I had no income. I had my husband's checks up. She told me, she said to me, what do you have there? Okay, so the petitioner said, can we move it? When I'm the moving party, she speaks to her. So I'm going to show you the way the evidence is going to show that she continuously show bias to this white male, abusive alcoholic, okay? I don't know what's going on. I'm afraid she's going to let them move it to another date. With that said, January, she was nasty and disrespectful to me. She was very, she was aggressive to me. So I'm going in court with this woman who now I know who's aggressive. And I may have said this before. This is a young, attractive Jewish woman. I got to think for redheads. So to me, she's an attractive, pretty young Jewish woman. When I first saw her, she may be in her 40s. But at the time, when I first saw her, I said, oh, good, this will be a young, a younger generation girl who, could be a feminist or whatever, but I'm thinking young people or objective. I don't know why, but when I first saw her, I thought that. She showed me differently. Anyway, the self-help people told me that she would look at the tax records and go from there. Judge Heidel spent over 30 minutes making me demonstrate the petitioner's income. She had old federal taxes. She had our federal taxes from the past 2 years. She's also had the petitioner's check stub that he submitted with his FL-150. The petitioner's FL-150 submitted to the court in December. I'm going to put the FL-150 probably on the website, okay? Here, I'm going to put the website here, okay? See transcripts February 7th. So I'm reading you the transcript right now, you guys. February 7th, 2019. Judge Heidel didn't look at the financials. The petitioner submitted to the court, but she looked at the FL-150. I submitted. This is not the transcript, so I have a highlight, but I'm wrong. Anyway, I was bewildered. I filed for spousal support. Okay, I skipped something. I'm so sorry. The petitioner submitted to the court. This is my life. This is how I don't function. February 7, 2019, Judge Heidel didn't look at my financials. The petitioner submitted to the court, but she looked at the FL 150 I submitted. Judge Heidel gave me a nasty look. She said, "You put that you make $6,000. I was bewildered. I filed for spousal support after the car accident. My concussion was at its worst. I must have made a mistake. I meant to put $600. She continues to give me nasty looks and talks down to me. I only wanted some support, some sort of support. I was a housewife for the past 12 years, married for 23. For the last 12, I was a housewife. I stayed home in good faith that my husband would support me. During this time, Heidel asked the petitioner attorney to speak to the year-to-date income. His attorney changed his subject by claiming he will have a forced furlough day. I explained to the court that he is an executive. Forced furlough days doesn't apply to him because he has a salary. Judge Heidel exact words, page 11, line 21. Ms. Gibson, if you continue to speak about matters that aren't relevant, I'm going to call this hearing. What I was saying was very relevant. She bullies and gaslights me, tries to confuse me. I was speaking directly about the matter relevant to the hearing. I want to get back to the question so you guys remember that. Maybe I'll put it on the screen. Does Judge Heidel's blatant gaslighting, aggression, and bias against respondent rise to the level of misconduct? Okay, and we're going to go over and talk about, we'll review canon. We'll review canon on the next video, okay? So let me get back to where I was at. You guys, I will move my place out. I took a chance by going, growing up. Okay, so I was bewildered. I filed spousal support after the car accident. My concussion was at its worst. I must have made a mistake. I meant to put $600. She continues to give me nasty looks and talk down to me. I only wanted some sort of support. I was a housewife for the past 12 years. I stayed home in good faith that my husband would support me. During this time, Heidel asked the petitioner's attorney to speak to the year-to-date income. His attorney changed the subject by claiming he will have a forced furlough day. I explained to the court that he is an executive. Forced furlough days doesn't apply to him because of the salary. And then she says again, Ms. Gibson, if you continue to speak about matters that aren't relevant, I'm going to call the case. This is her gaslighting me. This is her misleading me. This is misconduct. Okay? What I was saying was very relevant. She bullies and gaslights me, tries to confuse me. I was speaking directly about matters relevant to the hearing. His lawyer says that he got furlough days, so he was making less than what his W-2 said or his previous year. My rebuttal was, no, that's not true. He's an executive. He's on salary. His salary is not by the hour. It's annually. It is my belief that she maliciously tries to confuse me by misleading me to believe that my talking points were not relevant to Family Code 4320. It might be 4321. I think it's 4320. Maybe I'll put it right here. Family Code 4320 talks about spousal support. It's the code on spousal support. His income, the fact that he is lying. Judge Heidel bullies me throughout the hearing. Her body language is very oppositional. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm clearly struggling. The petitioner's annual income at this time was well over $180,000 annually. I had no income. I'm desperately trying to explain to her the situation. She isn't trying to find out the facts. If she just reviewed the court documents that was submitted by my husband, she can see exactly what he makes a year. I had no income at this time. My lights were cut off twice because I couldn't pay the bill. During the separation, the petitioner maliciously had my lights cut off, which I believe was against family court rules. I had to put the lights in my son's name because by this time my credit was ruined. I have here review the transcripts. I was discussing the facts. My husband's attorney pointed out that the W-2s were filed with the court, yet the judge continues to make me struggle. See transcripts, February 7, 2019, page 6, line 16 through 24. the court. I understand you have a lot on your mind, but you need for the purpose of this hearing, keep it to things that are relevant to the hearing. Judge Heidel intentionally misleads respondents when she states that respondent devotion to domestic duties isn't relevant to the family code. Okay. The extent to which, so I'm going to talk, this is family code. I think it's 4320. I got 4321, but I believe it's family code 4320. Family Code 20, Section 2. The extent to which the supporting party presents or future earnings capacity is impaired by periods of unemployment that were incurred during the marriage to permit the supported party to devote time to domestic duties. So what that means is, if one of the supported party spent time being a housewife, which impairs my ability to it lessens my marketability because I've been away from the job market for so long. So therefore, I am due, the court says that I'm allowed to live in the same lifestyle in which I am accustomed to with my husband. I have been homeless since 2020. I lived in a bed bug infested hotel for over 3 years. Okay, I've since learned that this man has repurchased a home with part of my marital assets. He has been wrongly enriched. I'm going to stop because I'm worried about this part not recording. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to move on. Okay, so I'm going to stop maybe like every 10 minutes. I don't know. I may try to go for like 12 next time. I don't know. Yeah, I'm moving on. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. How I'm doing this. I'm on. You're like, lady, keep going. Let me tell you where I left off at. You know what, you guys? It's so complicated. It's so hard. This is the hardest thing that ever happened to me in my life. And, you know, I want you to know God is real good, and I'm very optimistic. I say that, and I have anxiety in my stomach, and I feel sick inside. But my conscious mind knows that staying positive is important. The depression and the sadness and the way the brain works is making me have negative thoughts and trying to stop me from moving forward. I've been depressed and sad for years. I've laid in the bed and just been non-functional. And I am the observer of what's happening to me, which I think my therapist explains that it's harder on me because I see it's happening to me, and because I lack the ability or the control. That is a mental health issue that is making me more frustrated and making me more sad that I don't have. I lack the control. But my mind knows you gotta stay positive, and I serve a good God, and I think everything happens in divine order. And it hurts so damn bad, and it's been so hard. But I'm gonna stay focused, and I'm gonna believe that good's gonna come. That we're gonna make changes for Negro people. We're gonna make changes for the family court. We're gonna make changes for just Californians and Americans all together, because we're gonna hold these people accountable, and this is how change is made. Anyway, so I talked about. She's saying that that needs rebutting him being paid less because of furlough days. Me rebutting, saying that I was a housewife, and she is stating that it's not relevant. Is that she is guilty of misconduct by gaslighting me, misleading me, and showing bias to the petitioner. Okay, so I said family code. I should have checked before I came back. Family Code 4320, I believe it's 4320. The extent to which the supporting party represents our future earnings capacity is impaired by periods of unemployment that was incurred during the marriage to permit the support party to devote time to domestic duties. And I'm going to say this really quickly because I know I have it somewhere. Because I keep everything, you guys. I'm a freaking pack rat. In one of the court hearings, either was a spousal support or maybe asking for legal fees. I showed her that I left the workforce for several years. I think I stopped working in 2008. I think I attempted to go back in 2016. That was because I was trying to build a business. He wouldn't help me finance it. And I'm going to say this to you really quick, and I do have a tendency to ramble. This was during, and it's still going on now. It's probably reemerging because we're getting out. It's after COVID, and we're trying to reemerge and get the economy back on track. This was back when all the venture capitalists were starting all these like apps and .com companies and apps, the emergence of the emerging industries. So I would attend, it was called incubators with women and minorities. And you guys, I would always get my feelings hurt because it was other women there, and they would speak about the support of their husbands, their parents, their family, and I didn't have the support. So this is why I tried to look for a job. I have a degree in finance and business. I had a fashion business. I took a makeup arts course to complement my fashion business. So I tried to get, you guys, I tried to get a job at Mac. I ain't gonna talk about their racist ass. I ain't gonna talk about racist ass Mac, okay? And the reason why I say that, because I am a salesperson by trade, so I know how to get to the gatekeeper and sell myself. I'm going to try to, but I know I have them, but if possible, I'm going to post the letters, the emails, because I was looking for a job. And I wasn't looking for a job to support the family, to participate in the family. I was looking for a job to get money to market my business and try to build my business. That's why I later started doing rideshare. I want to tell you how I started doing Uber, because he didn't even believe me. He was like, "You really gonna be an Uber driver?" And I was like, "Yeah." I took an Uber on Halloween. I'm gonna tell you the long story, but I was like, "Oh, this is like fun." I started doing rideshare because he wouldn't give me money. I don't know if I told you the story before, but one day he cursed me out for filth because I bought these plaques. And I keep on thinking $15. The place I bought it from, they would have specials. I don't want to say who it is, but companies have specials. I bought these plaques to put on my truck. This man cursed me out for filth, and I know they were either $10 or $15. I know I didn't pay more than $25 for both of them because I'm a bargain shopper. This man cursed me out for filth because I bought these plaques for my business. And this is why I started doing Uber and Lyft. And me looking for a job, I wasn't looking for a job to participate, to contribute to the household. That wasn't, not saying that I wouldn't contribute to the household, but that wasn't the reason why I was looking for a job. He made enough to support us and then some. I was looking for a job to help build my business moving forward. Through every hearing, Judge Heidel made inappropriate statements to deter me. Her intent was to deprive me of my civil rights as applies to Family Code 4320. The respondent, this is me, I understand. The fact that I raised my daughter is very relevant to spousal support. California Family Code 4320 confirms the relevancy of my testimony. The code states, the extent to which the earning capacity of each party is sufficient to maintain the standard of living established during the marriage, taking into account all of the following. I'm going to read this to you. The extent to which the supporting party presents or future earning capacities compared by periods of unemployment that were incurred during the marriage to permit the supported party to devote time to domestic duties. My daughter did everything. My daughter was an actress. My daughter played basketball. She was a cheerleader. I had her do all kinds of stuff. My princess. She was a cheerleader. She did gymnastics. She took piano lessons. Did you think? Yes, somebody did come over. I think she did have for that. She had piano lessons. I think somebody may have came over to teach her. I'm not remembering this correctly. Okay, so I'm not going to say this because I'm not remembering correctly. We had piano, and I think somebody did come over to teach her, but I took her to singing lessons because her school had an annual play, and it was always a musical. And my daughter, like her mom, she can't sing that well. And her best friends would always get lead roles, and she would get like okay roles. And her like she, my daughter's one of the popular girls at a little small private school, but her clique, 2 or 3 of them would get big roles because they could sing. My baby couldn't sing, so I got her singing lessons. She still didn't get a singing role. They gave her a role, and she was a rapper. They made her. The teacher had her rap, which is like cute. She had her rap, which was really creative. And with the point that I'm making, my daughter stayed busy. Okay, a lot in acting. We did a whole lot of acting classes and auditions. So I'll keep going. the ability. I lost a job once. I lost one of my jobs because I had to take her to an acting class, and this man wanted. I asked him to take her, and he wanted. It was during like the basketball, what do you call it, playoffs or whatever, and he wanted to go and watch the game or something. And I told him that there was a bar in the same parking lot of her acting class or something, that he could see it there. He talked to me crazy. So something I did. I didn't go to a hearing or something. I didn't go to a. I did. I was supposed to make an appointment to make a sale for my job, and I ended up taking my daughter to her class. You know, guys, I'm gonna stay with this, but maybe later on into me documenting everything, I'll tell you some stuff about my standard of living and how I lived and the kind of mom that I was, because I was devoted to my daughter. Okay, my son's older. He was grown. He didn't want to have nothing to do with me. He's still old. Okay, he take care of me. That's it. He don't even want to talk. Like, leave me alone. Okay, moving on. So what I'm reading to you is Family Code 4320. So this is Section 2 or 3. The ability of supporting party to pay spousal support, taking into account the supporting party's earning capacity, earned and unearned income, assets, and standard of living. The need of each party is based on standard of living established during their marriage. I was a housewife. I raised our children. This is very relevant. It is one of the major factors contributing to why I am unable to earn a living to support my standard of living. For the past 20 years, my husband was able to pursue his career and continue his education because I was a wife and mother. Judge Heidel makes misleading statements that is clearly in conflict with the law. This is a family law judge who is aware of the basic income issues. So I'm talking about in the beginning. Okay, as I read this and I go on, I understand, I recognize that they're setting me up to harm me from the beginning. And I'm unaware. As I go back and I read and I see the things she says and what she does, they are planning to harm me. And what I believe is this man has some ties to these people. I'm going to show that as we go on. I'm going to show you where Judge Lawrence Riff received an award at it's a law firm that specializes in family law. And on the website, I no longer see it, but I think I got a screenshot somewhere in here. It's called Levin, something Levin. I forgot what it's called, but it was a law firm. And they gave Judge Lawrence Riff an award. On their website, it referenced different agencies that they were associated with. One of them, my husband worked there for over 20 years. So it is my belief, if you have the ability to research, investigate, help me put this together, we're going to demonstrate that these people harm me purposely. And I definitely believe it had to do with me being black and him being white. But I also believe that he has ties to the family court. And I'm going to say allegedly, I think that there is some unethical activity going on, that something really rotten is going on between the family court, the judges, and these agencies. I'm saying allegedly, okay? It's alleged. Okay, so I'm continuing to read Family Code 4320. And what it says the need of each party based on standard of living established during the marriage. Oh, I already said that. And the reason why I want to go back to that is because Judge Iwasaki, you guys, I don't want to tell you things about the trial, but in the divorce documents, he states that he makes negative comments or false comments about my standard of living. He says that he said in the judgment for the divorce that we didn't go out, that I forgot exact words, but what he said was, paraphrasing that, because it's supposed to go according to your standard of living. He's saying that we didn't eat out, that we didn't vacation, and we didn't do things, and that's not true. On my Instagram, we went on vacation every New Year's Eve and every spring break. We were married on New Year's Eve. Every New Year's Eve, almost every, we actually went December 26th to January the 4th, we would go to Jamaica. We went to other places. We went to Jamaica a couple of times. We went to Bermuda. I can't tell you it was either spring break or during Christmas, but we went to Bermuda. We went to Jamaica multiple times. We did cruises to like the Mexican Riviera. We went to Bermuda. Did I say that already? We went to St. Thomas. Went to a lot of places. We would eat out often. I'm going to subpoena his credit card records, and I'm going to show you that we ate out often. We ate out probably at least once a week, and usually on the weekend. Like what he would do was like, he would call me on his way home when I worked and when I didn't work. Because sometimes we would both. When I was working, I was a salesperson. I would have long days. He'd call me on the way home, and he would be like, "What's up?" Like, I forgot the words that we used, but he'd be like, "It's one of those days when we had a long day, like a long like day, or we were tired from working. I'm scared. It's gonna mess up because I don't got a lot of minutes left." He would say, "Do you want to go have sushi?" And so we ate out a lot. And we went to Vegas a lot. I'm gonna stop it because I'm scared I'm gonna lose this. So okay, I probably shouldn't have read the different points of 4320, but I want you to understand. I will put a link in here. I'm gonna power through because I've already spent 20 minutes talking. And as we move forward, I'm gonna really try to make these videos between 20 and 40 minutes. They've been in excess of 60 minutes. So I'm gonna try my best to keep them to the minimum. So I just reviewed what Family Code 4320, how she gaslights me. So at the end of the day, she didn't order spousal support. I tell her my husband is an abusive alcoholic. His attorney screams, "Your Honor." I tell her I can prove it. I told her he has gone to Alcoholics Anonymous. I put exhibit here, and so I'll probably put the photo up here if I have it. Either I'll put it here or I'll put it on the website. It's an exhibit of a photo of his fingers in the photo. He's holding the Alcoholics Anonymous, I guess their book, something, I've got the name of it. It's a book that I want to tell you what it is, but I don't have the evidence in front of me. But it's a name of the book. It's like 12 ways or something. It has something to do with the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, I think. And what he did was he took a photo of it to let me know that he's reading the Alcoholics Anonymous book and his fingers in it. And what's happening, you guys, this is my husband. This is him trying to say, "Look, I'm trying to get better. Okay, this is when we were separated. We would fight. He never left. I don't remember if I told you what happened. I think I already told you, so I'm not going to say it again. Why he got mad at me, okay? I don't know if I told you. I have to freaking look at the video. Maybe if I look at the video, if I did tell you, I'll tell you. But so I'm telling her he's an alcoholic. His lawyer goes, "Your Honor." I told her, "Ask him." I said, "I can prove it." I told her he's gone to Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm going to put the picture of his finger in the book, okay, of the Alcoholics Anonymous book. I told her to ask him. I said, I can prove it. If you ask him, did he go to Alcoholics Anonymous? Just ask him. I want to call her out her name. She didn't. She was sitting, looking at her computer, turned this way. She was so nasty and disrespectful. She didn't make an effort to find out the truth for equity, for justice. When I said to her, if you ask him, matter of fact, I think part of the trial that I should be able to ask him questions, okay? Because Judge Slauson allowed me to question him. And she didn't do it. She's the only person who held the hearing objectively was Judge Slauson. And I never even noticed on the original divorce papers, he was supposed to be the judge. That they purposely gave it to her because he is in cahoots with Judge Sarah Heidel, Judge Lawrence Riff, and Judge Bruce Iwasaki. If you watch this video and you have a similar issue with Judge Lawrence Riff, Judge Bruce Iwasaki, or Judge Sarah Heidel, please comment or email me. I'll put the email here. They moved him to the Civil Rights Division. Judge Lawrence Riff is in bed with the Reparation Task Force, allegedly. Allegedly, Judge Lawrence Riff is in bed with the Reparation Task Force. I'll tell you about that as we move on. Okay, I told her to ask him. She ignored me, refusing to ask him to confirm any statement I made, but took Petitioner's statement at face value. She gave me a nasty look, looked at me right in my eyes, and ruled against me. She looked at me like there's nothing that you can do. This was done with malice and intentional harm. I had no income at this time. I didn't know where she came up with the figure for my income. I said, "Can I explain about my income?" She shook her head. Instead of answering verbally so it could be on the record for the court reporter, she shook her head and said no, so it wouldn't be on the record. She used the figures on ex-spouse that his attorney created. The figures on ex-spouse was inaccurate, and she used an income for me when I did not have an income. She didn't verify any of the figures from the ex-spouse that my husband attorney submitted. I later realized she used the figures as if it were a short-term marriage. We were married for 23 years. The figure on the ex-spouse was inaccurate and deceptive. One of the variables used in the ex-spouse is the medical insurance, which should have only included what he paid for me. They did this when she did the ex-spouse and for the judgment. They made me pay for health insurance. He paid for health insurance, and so it was just he and I on the insurance. It would have been really cheap. I think it would have been like $200 per pay period, like under $400. Because it was a third person, he added my daughter who was over 18, who was in college. It became $1,000, like $1,200, something like that, $1,100. They split that in two ways between me and him. When I didn't have a legal obligation to pay for her. Okay, it should have been split in three ways, and I should have paid for me. She did it. As I go on, you guys, you're going to see this is how it began. Slowly, they start to malign me. You are not going to believe the harm that they did to me, and they did this to me because I'm a black person. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm a black woman. So he used the figure, including coverage for my daughter. Judge Heidel didn't verify my income. The opposing attorney took 2017's tax returns. Take note, this is 2019. The opposing attorney crossed out the actual money I made and wrote in the figure. That's what she did. The judge used the figure that the opposing attorney came up with. It was 2019, but the judge used a made-up figure that was created by the opposing. Not to mention, the opposing presented an ex-spouse calculation without giving me enough time to review evidence prior to the hearing. The figure on the ex-spouse calculation was wrong. I just thought of something and it slipped my mind. I'm sorry, you guys. I really have a problem with train of thought. That's something I wanted to say. That she didn't verify it. Oh, you guys, there's something I want to tell you. Let me stop. I don't remember, but I think what I wanted to tell you was that she used figures for 2017. It was 2019, and I didn't have an income. I don't remember. I wanted to tell you something. Reading this made me remember something, but I forgot. I really have an issue with train of thought. It'll come to me as I go on. But forgive me for my delay, you guys. Judge Sarah Heidel didn't ask me any questions related to what the law says regarding ordering spousal support for a long-term marriage, specifically that I was in an abusive marriage for 23 years. When I told the judge Heidel he was abusive, she punished me by ruling against me. The law says that the court shall consider all. Judge Heidel didn't ask one question pertaining to what the law says she must consider in a long-term marriage. Exhibit, I'm going to show you, either I'm going to put it here, I'm going to put it on the page. My husband was an abusive alcoholic since we were boyfriend and girlfriend. I think we met in like 92, 91, 92. We got married in 93. I have letters. Yeah, the letters date back to 1991 where he's apologizing. In the marriage, it's cards where he gives me. He is the abuser. They never acknowledge him being the abuser. Furthermore, at the end of the marriage, they deemed me as the abuser, and that was that was a way. It's some kind of law that interferes. Um, it influences spousal support. They made me the abuser, so he would have to pay me. This was purposely to harm me financially, but also to deprive me for the ability to defend myself legally. They want to make sure that I have any resources or assets. And to America, this is what they've been doing to Black people since they came here. After we were freed with the Black codes and the Jim Crow, they harm Black people. They lie, they mislead. I'm going to talk to you about the Reparation Task Force. Judge Lawrence Riff, I don't want to get into this because this is alleged, and I do plan to file um, legal claim because I believe the California Reparation Task Force is in cahoots with Judge Lawrence Riff. I think that they are part of the coverup and the coverup and the civil rights violations. The California Reparation Task Force compiled a study of harm done to Black people in this country. I submitted my story to them, and they refused to acknowledge it. The chair, and this is hard for me because I like this little girl, this young lady, and then I realized that she was part of it. Her name is Kamilah Moore. She's an entertainment lawyer. She was the co-chair of the California Reparations Task Force. She has seen me on Twitter. She knows everything that they did to me, that they purposely did not use my story because it would demonstrate civil rights violations. Reparations was about slavery. And they, for some reason, they went through this thing where it was lineage based for descendants of chattel slavery. I am a descendant of chattel slavery. I can trace my lineage back to before the 1800s with my grandparents. Okay, it's actually online. But California was not a slave state. Whatever they're doing, what I came to understand, the Reparations Task Force was a ruse. It was just a way for California state government to maintain votes and maintain their position in the state by getting votes for Black people. I'm not going to get into that too deeply. It's a whole political matter. When I first learned about it, I was wanting to understand because what it meant for me, reparations is 5 pillars of reparations. The restitution is one, but my main focus for reparations was non-repetition. I wanted legislation to protect African American people, Black people, Negro people, descendants of chattel slavery. As things unwinded and unfolded, I learned that Judge Lawrence Riff, that the Reparations Task Force, after learning about my story, after I submitted this to them, after engaging with a guy named Chris who's with CJAC and different people associated with Reparations Task Force, and my story, thinking they're going to help me get justice, that they were in bed with him, that they submitted a request for no cash bail to Judge Lawrence Riff. I'm going to put some articles regarding this judge in the description. They're in bed with the man who harmed me. They're in bed. He ordered no cash bail, said it was unconstitutional for people to go to jail and not be able to get out, but watch how bad he harmed me. This man is now he's a civil rights law judge. And I'm going to tell you other stuff. He said a Black woman filed a suit where the sheriff department killed her boyfriend, broke in her house and shot her boyfriend. Lied, said he tried to pull a gun. It was during COVID. They was arguing. They illegally came in her home, shot her boyfriend. The same sheriff that shot her boyfriend was the same sheriff that shot the girl who called the sheriff on a domestic violence, and he shot her. I don't know if y'all know about this. I'll put a link below of this story. The same sheriff who killed, I think his name is Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas was murdered during COVID. Allegedly, sheriffs broke in their house because they were fighting. Shot this man dead. His girlfriend couldn't speak. She was mute. I'm saying that right. Mute, but she couldn't speak. She couldn't talk. I think she could hear, but she couldn't speak. I might be wrong. She might be able to hear. I don't remember. But she filed a suit against the sheriff's department. Judge Lawrence Riff ruled against her. Because this is deep. I'm not going to keep on going into this. It's an attorney named Gage. And I called on him. Y'all, I got everything on video. I'm telling you too much. But y'all, it's going to be twists and turns everywhere in this story. This is going to be like a life story, like a lifetime. And this is real life, what they put me through. Because I am a Black woman. I did nothing to no one. That's the most important thing I want you to understand. That I was married to an abusive alcoholic for over 23 years. All I wanted was fair. Half of our marital income and the same spousal support that a white woman is entitled to. And I've been homeless and destitute. And this man makes at least, I don't know, I've got to find out. He's at a new job. He makes at least $200,000 a year. And I'm destitute. I have no income. What else? You all forgot me talk too much. So I put the apology letter in here. In order, I want to talk about in ordering spousal support under the part that shall consider all of the following. I'm not going to read that to you. I'm going to put a link to that. So she didn't order spousal support. I'm going to stop right now and I'm going to go back. And I think, you know what, you guys? So to wrap this up, I hope I'm being coherent. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I know I've been rambling. So I went to court for spousal support on February the 7th, 2019. I was rear-ended in December of 2018. My husband abandoned me on January 5th of 2018. This court hearing is February 7th, 2019. He was the primary provider. I hadn't had a job since 2008. I did ride share. I told you I tried to look for a job and I couldn't get one because it was periods of unemployment. When I would look for jobs, and I know this is relevant because I'm a Black woman, when they would ask me why I hadn't worked in so long, because I was a housewife. And many of the interviewees couldn't fathom that a Black woman could be a housewife for so many years. So what I believe that sometimes I didn't get the job, or they didn't believe me, but I lost credibility because they didn't understand how a Black woman was able to go so many years without a job, because they didn't believe a Black woman could be a housewife for so many years. Anyway, you guys, I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna put the video together, and I'm gonna talk about what the law says, how California State calculates spousal support to show you what he was supposed to give me, and how they didn't give me anything. Yeah, I just made this long ass video for like 12 minutes and it didn't record. This is getting so old. I was saying, lecturing y'all, talking to y'all. This is my life. Y'all know I love Lucy. Y'all probably too young, but I'm the Black Lucille Ball. I have been my whole life. It's like my fucking life. Really quickly, I'm going to read this to you guys. I did this. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to talk about how spousal support is determined. Each spouse can request spousal support under California law. The matter is gender neutral. The basic consideration is whether one spouse needs financial support and whether the other spouse can afford to pay. The higher earning spouse is often required to pay alimony to the lower earning spouse regardless of gender. How is temporary alimony calculated in California? The standard used for calculating temporary spousal support in California is based on what is necessary to maintain the standards of living that the couple was accustomed to during the marriage. While there is an acceptance that the same living standard for both Spouses may not be practical in two households. In the long term, the idea is to maintain the status quo as much as possible, at least until the divorce is final. Temporary spousal support is often calculated according to the following: the 40% of the higher earner net income, 40% of the higher earner's net monthly income minus 50% of the lower earner's net income. For instance, if a spouse A earns $5,000 per month and spouse B earns $2,500 per month, the temporary spousal support might be calculated as follows: 40% of the $5,000 for the primary A equals $2,000, and 50% of 50% of spouse B, the lower income, at $1,250. The temporary spousal support is $2,000 minus $1,250 equals $750, right? The guy that I married made at this point $14,000 a month. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to locate probably the F-150 that he submitted in his W-2 from that year. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. And then I'll probably do a calculation and I'll probably put it in here so you can see what he was supposed to give me. I didn't get anything. Okay. I want to go and just ramble and tell you everything that has transpired since that time, but I think it's very important that I stay focused. I want to say things, but I'm afraid I already said them. I really have a really serious issue with train of thought, so I forget. I don't know what I said and what I didn't say, and keep with everything in order. I'm going to say this again. If I said it already, I will cut it out. I've got to GoFundMe, and I've been trying. This is like my second or third time. I'm not really good at asking for help, but I need help. Please share, guys, it's barely anything in the GoFundMe because I'm really having a hard time asking. It's September 20th, 2024. They broke in my house on September 23rd, 2020. I ain't seen my things, my property, and I've been suffering, traumatized by the state of California, the family court. And so sorry, I lose my train of thought. I need help. I may have already given this lecture, but I feel like it's my civil duty to shine a spotlight on these people and have them removed from being in the court. They shouldn't be sitting on the bench ruling in cases with other little black boys and little black girls. I think I wanted to tell you about the Judge Lawrence Riff. I'm going to review some of the video, and if I didn't tell you, I'm going to tell you again. I'll tell you again sometime in the future anyway, so I probably already said it. You guys, I can't go back and look at the stuff. I put it in. I try to clean it up as much as possible. Sitting here listening to this stuff is hard for me, so it's not going to be in the best chronological order. It's not going to be the best presentation. I did this like last week, and I lost it. When I did it for an hour, I felt so much better. I'm reading this book. It's called How to Unfuck Your Brain or something. I'm going to show you guys. This book is so good. And I've listened to, I haven't listened to a lot of it, but what it's telling me, I need to talk about it because I've been.
When and if telling your story is something that's going to help you move on, and with someone who can be with you in that experience. Writing or journaling.
I love this chick, okay? I listened to part of it. One of the reasons why I'm having such a hard time is because I've been dealing with depression and sadness for so long. Part of what impeded on my ability was we were in COVID, and the court kept violating my civil rights. You're going to see that I kept trying to get justice, and they kept harming me. They kept doing things. One of the justices, I think her name was Justice Manila, and the court. This is the appeals court. I forget his name, but I'll tell you eventually. When I went there, they both retired, and I think their retirement is related to my case. So I've been trying to get justice for a long time. And so I'm listening to this book, Unfuck Your Brain. And you guys, it sounds corny, but it's really good because she curses, and not saying cursing is like cool, but she says it in the funny word. Like listening to her talk, like it's not like she sounds cool, like young and like hip, whatever. And the curse is like it's provocative, but it's like unfuck your brain, and it's my brain is fucked up because I'm a victim of anti-black hate crimes by the state of California and other black people. I know you know what I'm talking about. That's why it's so important that we do this. Why it's so important that you help me. Anyway, you guys, I don't want to keep talking, but I think I better stop. This video's been about 65 minutes. I'll recap on the next one. I'm gonna put in here. I'm gonna find the documents from the court date, and I'm gonna show you what they should have paid me. I didn't get anything. Okay. Anyway, thank you for listening. Please follow along and please leave me a comment and help me in my y'all gonna see this GoFundMe. Y'all gonna laugh. Please just put $10 in there if you got it, and tell somebody about it. Okay, if you think I'm silly, you like this black woman, what? Just share the story and pass it on, and try to get somebody to put $10 in there. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.